Welcome back to the Pick 199 podcast, episode 49. I'm here with Coxie.
Hey.
Snakeo.
Sup?
And Muzzy's away this week, so we're going to get stuck right in. We've got the NRL Grand Final, and we also have NFL results from this past week. Without further ado, let's get stuck into it. We had the Panthers 14 over the Rabbitohs 12. I don't know about you boys, but this final series has just belted out some absolute cracker games.
Oh, 100%. I think the Panthers really deserved it the way they sort of got to the grand final too.
Yeah.
Doing it on the back of defence, like you always hear the age-old saying that defence wins premierships. Penrith, especially the back end of Penrith season, ain't no truer statement because their attack's been a shambles for a while now, pretty much since the end of Origin.
Yeah.
And their defence, they really needed to get it shaped up, and it's what's won in the last three games, and they were the most three important of the year. So
that's it.
Tremendous effort from all.
But I think that's the thing though too, like their attack was what was sort of letting them down, like in terms of how they could compete against other teams. And like their defense really just held up to sort of keep other teams not scoreless, but like minimize the impact that the other teams had.
Especially when you've seen that on the weekend, like the left edge of South Sydney has been incredible all year, and AJ still scored that one try. But apart from that, the Cody Walker try was just absolute brilliance for Cody. But apart from that, like they shut him down. But that not only that, their defense isn't only about online pressure. They didn't allow them into positions to attack, and that's like Nathan Cleary's kicking game is a bigger part of the defense than anything, because where they do turn the ball over, it just doesn't allow for South Sydney to have any form of momentum.
Well, like I would say that Cleary's kicking game is what won him the Clive Churchill medal. Like, unbelievable kicking, like putting immense amount of pressure on the Rabbitohs back line. And, it worked out for them.
Yep.
Unfortunately, did you guys hear the little trivia bit where it was where Cody Walker threw that intercept pass was nearly exactly where Brett Kamali threw that intercept pass in Origin, like, was it 12 years ago or something?
And it's pretty much similar. Matt Singh, I think it was, ran away and scored a try and started Queensland's dominance.
Which is crazy, like to sort of be in the exact same spot in the sort of a very similar situation, trying to get out of trouble, trying to score down that left edge.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, so that intercept pass followed Kamali around for the remainder of his career. And I have a very good feeling that this is going to follow Cody very similar.
I'm sure it will for the most part. I think the difference between Cody Walker and Kamali, though, I think Cody Walker's a bit more like Teflon. Like he'll be able to brush that off a bit easier than Kamali has. I think Kamali had more runs on the board backing him up. Like he was the best 7 in the world, and that included the time where Andrew Johns was playing. Like he was keeping Andrew Johns out of a 7 jersey for New South Wales. Yeah,
like that's the kind of player that Brett Kamali was. I think this ends South Sydney's run and the chance they had at a comp. I honestly do.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if the age of Walker, I don't think he'll be able to get back to a big game, and I don't think he's going to play rep. Like he's not going to get another New South Wales jumper.
Well, that's the thing. It's like
you've got to prove yourself in games to turn that around. I don't think he'll get enough big games in his career again.
Yeah. Well, for the Rabbitohs too, like you think they're losing Adam Reynolds. They're also losing Wayne Bennett. Dane Gaggai's gone next year.
He's off to the Knights. Yeah.
Silver's off to the Dragons.
But I think the loss of Wayne Bennett, though, was just astronomical, I think, for them. I think he's the main reason they're able to do so well this year. I don't think another coach gets it out of the Rabbits.
Well, that's
especially once Latrell's out. No one gave him a chance. The only reason they made it there is because of how good Bennett is.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. And like for a coach like Wayne Bennett, he's a perfect fit for that Rabbitohs outfit, knowing like that a lot of that team's got a few hotheads in it, like Latrell and Brady Walker, and like now that he's stepping away from that, I just don't see them going any further.
100%. I think that was their best chance at it, as you were saying, Snake. I think that was their window to get, snag a premiership. But like next year, I can't see them doing as well, especially with the teams that are going to be in play next year. Do you know what I mean?
You're going to have a rookie halfback who, like, I think Taff will go to 7. That's what
I was almost going to say, do you reckon they push Latrell into the halves and then kick Taff at fullback?
Latrell likes to go in and out of games.
Yeah.
And I think if you have him in the halves, it's too much. Like, we need you all the time. Yeah. The other thing is, I don't necessarily think him and Cody Walker would be the best combination.
Because they're too
Walker
similar?
works. Yeah, Walker works really good because Reynolds just controls the game. Controls the game plan, executes the game plan. Then Walker can just go and play footy. The problem is Latrell's the exact same. So Latrell just wants to go and play footy. That's why I think the Reynolds piece is probably the biggest piece of the puzzle. Him going, I think that's almost a bigger loss than Bennett. Now, I know that's a huge call, but Bennett's got him there, so they know how to get back.
Yeah.
The next year, they'd have Latrell. This year, you lose Reynolds. You've got to train a rookie halfback. I just don't know.
Yeah. Well,
they haven't really given any minutes to a halfback this year. So
when you don't know, like, they can't rely on Benji to come in, play 7. And we don't know what's happening with Anthony Milford with this assault charge that's come up as well. So,
well, even if he plays, Milford's going to wear the 14. I don't think Milford's going to go straight to the 7.
Even then, like, he's still, like, he would have been a good addition to the halves sort of thing, like as an impact player. But look, it's going to be an interesting sort of future for the Rabbitohs, and hopefully they, from here on out, they don't make the finals again. But you know how it is.
Yeah, we're with you. The thing is, between the three of us, it's probably the 2 biggest rivalries that South Sydney have.
Yeah,
because you got the Charity Shield with the Dragons, which is like a very, like, the number one and two premiership winning clubs.
Yeah,
and then the Chooks have got the longest running rivalry with anyone.
Yeah,
in South. So we both don't like watching South win, but
But I think it's also like the Rabbit, like, no offense to Rabbitohs fans, but
all the offense to Rabbitohs fans.
Yeah, they're the most insufferable. They're like Liverpool fans. Like, just, they like to tell you that they're there.
Yeah, we do.
Well, if we flip it over to the Panthers, like, again, like, they just played really well. It's like that sort of, there was like 10-minute periods where Rabbitohs got back on top of them. But man, like, just sort of shitting bricks, basically, knowing that they did all the work to get the pressure taken off them, and they put the pressure back on the Rabbitohs, and then they drop the ball, and then you just go, oh no, like, this is just going to let the Rabbitohs back in.
Yeah.
But credit to them, their defense was pretty phenomenal, except for, I think, that left edge was the only problem for the Panthers.
And, like, you probably go into a game thinking that you're going to concede 1 try from that Rabbitohs left edge. Like, the Penrith right edge, like Crichton on the wing, they probably were expecting to let a try in.
Yeah. And
with how devastating South have been this year, you probably go, if they get 1 on us, good on them.
Yeah.
But they won't get 2. And, like, you've seen a lot of they've read it really well. There are a couple of reads. The left edge, Walker threw a few balls over the sideline. The pass is going behind. The timing was off. And that comes from defensive pressure. That comes from kick out. That comes from Crichton being staunch and trusting his inside man, So the one time they did score, Crichton probably didn't trust his inside man quite as much. Or he probably needed to come in to make the tackle. But apart from that,
the Rabbitohs just had to overlap solid too. Yeah.
Like, they do it so well. Like, that sweeping play that they do, it's coming. Like, everyone in the NRL knew it was coming. but no one knows how to stop it. So they
Yeah,
did really well.
I think, and for Nathan Cleary, like so we touched on it just before, like his kicking, I think it forced 5 dropouts in the game.
Yeah, I think there was 5 in goal, 5 line dropouts.
There's a few.
Which is like, when you can do that to a side as good as the Rabbitohs were, like that's always going to be tough to dig yourself out of that hole. Now, I think there was only a little bit of controversy surrounding that kick that was charged down on Adam Reynolds. People blowing up about it, but I think I agreed with the commentators at the time that you can't judge the referee for refereeing the game properly by the rules.
Yeah, I'm gonna rant for 30 seconds.
Okay.
Now, Gus Gould's biggest issue is that the referee made the correct call. He wasn't charging the ball down. He was making a tackle, and the ball gets kicked into him. So the rule is he doesn't play at it. Now, if Gus Gould's going to complain for 5 minutes about the referee making a correct call, how are we meant to take him seriously and blame him when they actually make a wrong one? Because at the moment, in the biggest game of the year, we're criticising a bloke for making a correct call.
Yeah.
That's not the time to make criticism. That's the time to go, I think there's a little bit of an inconsistency. I think the rule should be the same if you pass it into somebody or kick it into somebody. In that situation, I completely understand, right? We move on.
Yeah.
But if you are going to continually go after someone after they've made the correct call and for 5 minutes try and convince everybody that it's bullshit, then I'm sorry, but that's what causes outrage.
Yeah.
Because if he had said nothing and gone, that's the correct rule, then you get a couple of salty South Sydney fans, but everyone understands.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, it's not so much getting up the referee. It's like trying to undermine the rule that's in place. And
there's no point. There's no need to do that in the biggest game of the year.
Yeah, exactly. There's no point in the grand final when the correct call was made. So,
all in all, the referee performance last night was sensational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was not a single call that people stayed down and they didn't blow a penalty. They waited for him to get up and then they kept playing.
I think it only happened
milked into stuff.
Yeah, I think it only happened a couple of times when the guys were laying on the ruck, and I think it was both times with the Panthers too. So look, do you think that rule needs to be changed though?
Yeah, I do, but I reckon it should go, if you pass it into a player that's only making a tackle, then it's not played at.
Yeah,
I think they need to leave it the same as if you kick it into somebody.
Yeah,
because there's already too much going against the defender.
Yeah,
I think the defender needs a little bit of help.
Yeah.
So I think that's the right call, and if he had passed it into him, I think it's the same call.
Yeah,
personally, you can go either way. You can go the kicks wrong or the passes wrong. I think they need to be the same.
Well, that's the thing.
I think it needs to be.
It needs to be a bit more black and white, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Shepherd rule's perfect. It's so black and white. Everyone understands it. I think this just needs to be the same.
Well, could you imagine if they brought in the kick into someone is being played at, like halves are just exploit that to the nth degree. They do it every set.
You get a slow Tyron Ford in there and you just belt it at him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he drops the ball, it comes off his legs, you dive on it, 6 again.
Yeah.
Like you can't, it's not right. But I don't agree. If you go for a tackle around the hips and the ball gets passed into your arm as you come around, that shouldn't be 6 again.
Like as you're wrapping.
Yeah, because you can't help it. You're just trying to make a tackle. What are you meant to do? Not make the tackle?
Yeah,
you shouldn't be disadvantaged for that. So that's where I am on it. But anyway.
Yeah. No, I think I 100% agree with you there. In terms of what was I going to say? In terms of like the game, unbelievable game. I was trying to think what I was going to say.
Do you think, like obviously Penrith are a good side, but do you think they've sort of defensively they've figured it out? They've figured out how to play finals footy.
They have.
Finals footy. You go.
I think they have, but I honestly reckon that but especially in finals footy, I think all the rep experience they gained this year is a huge part of that.
Yeah.
But I think their window's closed. I'm glad they won it this year because I think they're having a few years off.
I was about to say, if you reckon if they had a loss this year, they wouldn't win the next, like they wouldn't be anywhere close in the next 4 or 5 years.
They're losing some pretty key figures this year. Like you're losing Burton. I think he was Dally M Centre of the Year. Joey Manu was robbed, but apart from that, like Burton's had a sensational year. You lose him defensively; he's provided them with so much.
Yeah,
attack, he's given them so much more. You're losing Capewell. You potentially losing Viliami.
Yeah.
Big losses, like. So it'll be interesting to see how they replace those players because they're key figures, And they need to score more points.
Yeah.
That's going to be the biggest thing because people will figure them out. They need to learn how to score more points. So
absolutely. And like that was their biggest thing in sort of like the last 6-8 weeks was they were winning, but not by the amount that everyone was sort of expecting them to. So but
as soon as they figured out that they don't have to win a game 28-12 and they can win a game 14-12, they were so much better off for it.
Well, that's it. It was like the Melbourne Storm sort of way of thinking in terms of like knowing that their defense can hold up. And
as soon as they figured out they don't need to score that many points and they can just go, you know what, we'll just back ourselves to score one more point than they will. They were so much better off for it.
Absolutely. No, very, very good end to the year in terms of rugby league. And
who was your Churchill? If you had to not give it to Cleary, who was the next best?
Jeez.
Because I reckon there were about 5 people that could have won it.
Yeah.
I don't think Cleary was that far above everyone else.
No. Luai had a really good game.
Jake.
I reckon Matty Burton probably could have got it.
Matty Burton was up there.
The try he scored to open it up.
Moses Leota was really good too.
That tackle from Burton, but where he threw the winger over the sideline.
Jackson Paul over the sideline.
That's like Scott Sattler tackle that. Like if they go on to score off that play, that tackle goes down in infamy. So
you also think if Crichton doesn't pick that ball out of the air too, they don't win that game.
If Cody Walker doesn't throw the cutout pass, if he goes short, they score on that play.
And then they win the game. Because if he goes short, they're 1-on-1 with they're 2-on-1 with the fullback. Yeah, well, they had Gagai.
Like they ice it, no one's catching AJ down that edge. Walker had about 3 options on that pass, and he chose the only one that wasn't going to lead to a try. Yeah. So
it did lead to a try.
It did lead to a try, just led to
just the other way.
On that pass, do you know the thing I loved the most out of it was Cleary and Walker getting into it after it.
Yeah.
That told me that Cleary was like, I'm not intimidated by absolutely anyone on this field.
But also, like he was getting into Cody Walker's head too, which is another smart play.
As soon as they upset Cody Walker, because he was the only way they were going to be in that game, was Walker. As soon as he was off, I just knew that they weren't going to get enough points in them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I knew they weren't going to be able to score twice. So, no, it was brilliant. But you got to remember, Nathan Cleary, 23.
Yeah. He's still got a good 10 years in him.
Well, he's won 2 Origins. He's won a comp. He's won a Churchill.
Yeah.
It's weird though too. Like when you think about the Panthers too, like I was just sort of thinking, I was like, surely they've won a comp within like the last 5 years. Like, when you're just sort of knowing how consistent they've been.
4 years ago, they weren't making the 8.
Yeah.
Well, that's how quick the turnaround's been.
But it's also like, you think their last premiership was 2003 as well. Like, it just seems like it's too long in between drinks almost. But I suppose they lost last year and they were contenders the year before.
Yeah, I think because like when Gus went there, we're always ready for something to happen out in Penrith.
Yeah.
Like we've been waiting for him for a while to sort of do something.
We're well and truly sort of seeing the fruits of that now, though, too. Like in terms of their juniors coming through, like To'o, Luai.
Yeah. Well, did you
Cleary
when they were getting their medals and they were reading out the junior clubs?
Yeah.
Like half of them all played for the same junior team. You know, like you had a couple of St. Mary's kids, a couple of Penrith kids, a couple of kids from Dubbo.
Yeah.
And that's it. They're all from the same nest eggs. Like the work Penrith put in the Western Zone, that come through and paid off for them. They've got 2 kids from Dubbo and a kid from Forbes, and they're 21. They've got that nest egg at Penrith where they're holding on and developing all their own juniors. It worked for them. Like all that work Gus put in, it paid off. And that's why I'd be so excited if I was a Bulldogs fan at the moment, because their junior catchment area is bigger than Penrith's.
Yeah.
Well, not bigger by by kilometre, but per capita, it's massive.
Yeah.
So good, exciting times with the Bulldogs, but yeah, it'll take 10 years to get your 5-year plan off the ground, but
yeah,
it's worth it.
I mean, it's the start of something pretty big out west. So
yeah.
Before we move on to the NFL, I think this question's been floating around all week, and I think both Jake and I pretty much agree on it, but the Clive Churchill medal should not go to a player on the losing side.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely no way.
Yeah.
I was in a rage yesterday because when Nathan Cleary got announced, it was the last 10 years of Dally M's, of Clive Churchill's.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Roosters didn't have 3, I was so livid.
Yeah.
And you got to look at DCE's head.
DC, yeah.
Mate, you're lost. You're a shit and you're lost. If you're good enough to win the medal, you should have been good enough to win the game.
Definitely. Exactly. 100% agree with you there, boys. Like I think it's an outrage if they give that sort of award to the team that didn't even win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of just like a shunt into the side of the team that won the game. Like, just like
the Roosters have been stitched up 3 times in history. That medal's gone to a player on a losing team.
Yeah.
Tell me who that was the opponent in all 3 games.
I don't know.
The Roosters.
The opponent.
Yeah, we won the grand final in all 3, and they all went to the losing team. So only 3 times in history it's happened, and the Roosters won those grand finals.
Oh yeah, I thought you meant the
Roosters have been dudded 3 times. It's only happened 3 times in history. So I'm pretty passionate about it, but
it just doesn't make sense. Like I said, if you're on the losing side, you don't deserve to, like, as well as you might have played as an individual, it shouldn't go to the losing side. But
it's the same as man of the series in Origin.
Yeah, I was going to say that's happened in Origin a couple of times. Didn't Slater win it one year?
Billy won it. He only played 2 games.
Yeah. And it was the year that we broke the drought too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, doesn't make sense. Crazy. But another year done and dusted for the NRL, boys. What are we going to do over the summer months? Like
cricket season, mate.
We enjoy cricket. Coxie's going to be bored shitless.
No, the NBA's back, boys. It's all right.
NBA, yeah.
Man City going like a bastard again, so we won't worry about that. We'll just worry about the NBA.
No, very good. Well, with that, let's jump across to the NFL. We had a few results, and we've got one game to play. So if we start with, I'll just scroll down here. Patriots 17, Buccaneers 19.
I'll tell you what, this was this was a crazy game, this one.
Man.
It was just like it was a battle of the minds, I think, almost between Belichick and Brady. Just, I mean, the weather wasn't great as it is in Boston. Like, it was just hammering down rain, and a lot of receivers were having trouble, catching balls that normally they would catch.
I was about to say, give it a few weeks, it'll be snowing up there. So
and you could see the frustration on Brady. Like, he'd throw these passes, and normally, like the wide receivers he's got would be making these catches, but it's just it's like it rained. It's another ball game. The ball's wet. There's things happening.
Game of field goals.
Yeah. So and it was at the end. But that was a cracker game, I thought.
It was good to see as much of the hostility that's sort of been reported between Belichick and Brady. It was good to see them sort of embrace after the game and
I think they did pass it up a lot, didn't they? The media.
They really did. Like it's
stir up a story, and it's like those fellas worked together for 20 years. But I
don't know if they've talked, have they?
Who?
I still don't know if they've had a conversation, Brady and Belichick.
They may not have had a conversation, but like the scenes after the game where they just embraced each other, knowing like what they've done for each other. Like I think that spoke more than them having a conversation off the field, sort of thing. So it was good to see them sort of. It's just like it almost just put a thought on the side of the media, like they can't really report anything negative out of that. So, but it was.
I'll tell you what.
Again, TB12 just continues to do TB12 things like winning games. So, yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, the Patriots, you'd have to be pretty happy as a Patriots fan. Like the rookie quarterback, I forget his name, but he had a blinder.
Mac Jones.
Yeah, Mac Jones. Is it Mac Jones?
He was really good, and that's one of the positives. Like New England need to fix their quarterback issues. So no, it's really good effort from them. But
Mac Jones.
When it's funny that New England potentially found their future quarterback on the day where Brady not only returns, but he goes into first place for throwing yards. So
passing yards.
Passing yards. So it's tremendous effort from Brady, and just so happens to be the night that New England potentially found their next long-term quarterback. So
Do you think Belichick will stick around for that, like to try and build a new dynasty out of Mac Jones?
I think he'll start. I definitely think he'll sort of put the footings in place.
Yeah.
I would have retired the moment Brady left the building.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
I think Belichick's too stubborn in that sort of mindset, though, too. Like,
100%.
He wouldn't be able to relinquish that sort of control, knowing that he's been so dominant in New England for so long. So,
yeah, but at the moment, it looks like it was all Brady's the reason why they won.
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't look like Belichick had anything to do with it.
Yeah,
that's the big one for me. I would have been out there.
That was I think it was Cowherd put a question up saying whether or not the success of New England was down to Belichick or Brady. And I think the end result was like nearly 70% was Brady and 30% was Belichick. I was like, well, you'd almost say 50-50, but I suppose your player has to execute those plays too. So,
Brady's consistently done it with teams that haven't been at scratch. So, like, I don't understand how it's all on Brady for me, because he hasn't always had the greatest teams. So, just me personally.
Yeah, fair call. If we move on, we had the Baltimore Ravens clapping the Denver Broncos 23-7. Good to see the Ravens back on winning
ways. Yeah, can't believe Broncos are 3-1 though.
Yeah, they've had a couple of good wins. I think this is probably their weakest performance out of all of them. Obviously, like they've just lost, but good win for the Ravens. And
I rate the Ravens this year. I really do. So.
Yeah. Well, they've always sort of been there, and just like it's just taking that next step that's been their problem.
They made a great run last year, and like they were their most heavily affected team last year through COVID, and that really delayed their run. Then they made a run, but it just didn't quite catch in for them. But yeah, I said last week I really rate them. So
yeah,
tremendous effort from them.
No, very good. No wonder Muzzy isn't here this week. Packers 27 over the Steelers 17. I mean, again, it's just another week, another loss for the Steelers, and they just didn't look anywhere in this game at any point.
We seen the writing on the wall from last year, didn't we?
Yeah.
Their roster's aging.
Too.
Yeah, their roster's been aging for a while, and as an organisation, I just don't think they're making enough moves.
No.
Yeah, well, they did pick up Dwayne Haskins from the Washington football team. He's a quarterback. He was meant to be picked up. Like he had big things going for him. I think at the time, I think it was meant to be New York. The Giants were meant to pick him, and then obviously we went with Dan Jones. But yeah, I don't know. Like he didn't really start too well. Obviously with the Washington football team, I think a bit of drama off the field as well. But like I think the Steelers kind of gave him a lifeline. So it'll be interesting to see if that, can sort of pay dividends for them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it was not really a big risk for them to take him as sort of a second string quarterback, but yeah, I think it'll, time will tell.
Yeah,
that's it.
He needs minutes on the field.
Yeah, no, that's it. Well, moving on, Arizona Cardinals 37 over the LA Rams 20. Cardinals is continuing just to be that steady ship that's rolling through. I mean,
didn't see Cardinals like having the start to the year that they've had.
Yeah,
and I thought they'd be okay, but I didn't think they'd be 4-0. And the Rams were they've been looking like a premiership threat.
I think that's the thing too. It's like they've always sort of like the Cardinals always looked sort of there and thereabouts, but never really sort of gone on with anything.
Yeah, I don't think many teams sort of fear going to play the Arizona Cardinals, do they? Until maybe now.
Yeah, well,
I think they're starting to get a bit of fear.
Yeah. But not great for the Rams, but I mean they're still a strong enough side that they'll continue to win games. So
they'll bounce back.
Yeah. Seahawks 28 over the 49ers 21. I mean, this is a pretty good game.
And both it's a big win.
Big win for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
But also stops that momentum that the 49ers were gaining too. So good win for the Seahawks.
Do you think these two are going to be battling it out all year? Being conference rivals, I think they're going to be battling for the same spot. So any win you can get against the conference, that's what you want. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Washington football team, 34, Falcons 30.
Oh, no. Not the Falcons, Roscoe.
Geez. Just when you
What's going on with the Falcons, mate? What do you reckon?
Oh, like I said a couple of weeks ago, there's so many things going wrong with them at the minute. We can't organise a defence to save ourselves, and we can't organise an attack to sort of win games. So, I mean, Matt Ryan's great at quarterback, but if you don't have the pieces there to finish the job, it's like, what's the point? So it's going to be a tough couple of years before we can start competing again.
Yeah.
Colts 27 over the Dolphins 17. Good win for the Colts. Good way for them to bounce back after a three-loss streak. So,
your boy, Jake, Carson Wentz.
Yeah, get it done, mate. I honestly expected more out of the Dolphins this year. I had concerns about them on offense at the end of last year. I know their quarterback's been going really well, but I don't think he's the right quarterback for this system. I honestly don't. But yeah, I don't know. I thought they'd be better. I was hoping they'd be better. It's disappointing me
do that too.
Yeah,
knowing how strong they were during like the 90s and stuff, like
not even that. Like as an organization, they've built themselves up from nothing.
Yeah.
To a point where they were ready to start competing, and now all of a sudden they're not competing again. It's like, no, this is meant to be the time as an organization they start to cash in, and they're not there. So it's disappointing.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, excuse me. Buffalo Bills 40 over the Texans 0.
Woo! That's insane. Not even a point.
That's getting a job done properly in that.
Well and truly. if you can hold any NFL team to 0 in a whole game, like you think of how long those games go for.
Yeah.
If you can hold a team to 0, you're doing something right. And that
not even a field goal.
Yeah,
that's it. That Bills defense continues just to do the right things and makes it easy for the offense just to do their thing.
Yeah.
But the offense is obviously doing a really good job for the defense because they're keeping them off the field.
Yeah, that's true.
So whatever your defense isn't on the field, your offense has got the ball. It's going to make it easy because they're going to have energy and K's in the legs for when they do need to go to work. So just an all-round great performance. The Bills are starting to turn into one of those teams that isn't happy just to win 30-20. And that's what I feel like the NFL are really bad at, organizations that are just happy to outscore. And the championship teams don't do that. And the Bills aren't doing that at the moment. I think they're a real threat this year.
Well, I think that's the thing, though, too. Like, I think the NFL sort of doesn't rely on, like, points difference in terms of how to
get as the NBA either.
Yeah.
I wonder if they brought that in, if it would change some mentalities. Like, it'd be very interesting. Yeah. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, because it's like we said, it's tough to keep a team to 0. Like that's, and especially when you got like a squad of like 40 to 60 players, sort of thing. So
I don't know, but if you brought in a system like the rugby do with bonus points and stuff, you beat a team by 30. Like I don't know, it'd be interesting to see how it changed some attitudes. Not saying to do it.
They could even kind of
be an interesting concept.
Well, they could link it even with like the wild cards, how they work all that out.
Yeah,
those teams will adjust.
Exactly.
Scraping in.
Yep, absolutely. Moving on, we had the Chicago Bears 24 over the Detroit Lions 14. I don't think there's much to say apart from Detroit will pour again, and Chicago were lucky to get like an easier opponent.
Yeah, the Bears were lucky they were playing the Lions. That's
about as much as you can say for that one.
Oh God! If you want to know how to tank, the Lions have been doing it for 10 years. So
and they still haven't improved.
So that's how you do it anyway.
We had the Cleveland Browns getting a 7-point win over the Vikings, 14 points to 7. Cleveland's still just sort of duking out those tough wins and not winning by much, but they're still winning.
But they add up, don't they?
3-1. Yeah, and like we said, it doesn't come down to for and against, so it doesn't matter how you get the W, as long as you get it.
Yeah, it's all about the winning record.
Bloody oath it is. They're doing a top job.
Coxie.
Hey, the boys, we got up.
27 over the New Orleans Saints, 27-21.
Bittersweet moment. It's good to see the boys win. Also sort of puts a dash in our chances of getting a first number 1 pick, but I'll take that. I think the Saints defense really let them down here. I don't think the Saints didn't really have too much trouble scoring. I think Taysom Hill ran over twice, got 2 rush touchdowns. And then obviously, Giants came back and were able to just give the ball to Saquon Barkley and let him do his thing. So, but yeah, no, it was good to see the boys actually get a win. Yeah, I got nothing else to add to that.
No, it's good.
Dash our number 1.
Saints just don't look like I don't think it's a quarterback problem. I think it's just, like you said, defense problem, and something's just not clicking right there.
I think you're just short all over the park.
They're scoring points, the Saints. Like you've seen in their last, in all their games this year, they're scoring points. I think they're just leaking it too much.
Leaking too many,
Yeah, and then this one's just they probably sort of fell asleep a little bit against the Giants.
Yeah.
And then, obviously the Giants were enough to sort of, take it to OT and go from there. But, I think the Saints really should have, sort of stepped on the neck in this game and finished it better than what they did. So, but that's what it is. It's NFL for you, boys.
Yeah. We had the Dallas Cowboys 36 over the Carolina Panthers 28. I mean, this is a pretty good game. Probably not the result that everyone wanted, knowing that no one likes the Cowboys.
I'll tell you what, they've done well this year so far.
Yeah,
we don't. Yeah, they can do well. Doesn't mean we have to like it. They've been good. They've been good in the last few weeks. They absolutely put the clappers against the Eagles last week. I said they'd win. I said someone would win by 20. It's just the other way around. Then this week, they're just too good. But the Cowboys are good all over the park at the minute. So defensively, they're really good, and we know about the weapons they've got in attack. So.
That's it. Having Dak back is really
he looks so good. He looked really good last week against the Eagles.
Next, we had the Kansas City Chiefs beating the Philadelphia Eagles 42-30. Back to the old Chiefs, like to the Chiefs of old, scoring 40, letting 30 in. Yeah,
and when you're letting 30 in against an offense like Philadelphia, you've got concerns.
You've got concerns for that defense, yeah.
I'm not quite ready to put the line through the Chiefs just yet, but I'll tell you what, I'm getting closer.
Yeah.
I really am. I think, they've still got some of the weapons that they've had when they've won their trophies, but I don't know. I honestly don't know about them this year. I want better performances against teams like Philadelphia.
Yeah, absolutely.
Than what they've been putting up. So
if you're wanting to contend for the Super Bowl again,
I'm not surprised they put 42 on us.
Yeah,
because defensively, Philly have been really poor. They're just making some really just mistakes. We made a lot of mistakes against the Cowboys last week. They were just like it's because we hadn't played as a unit. They just hadn't figured it out. But for Philly to score 30, that's not good enough. So that's what I'd be looking to fix first if I was the Chiefs.
Yeah. Next, we had the New York Jets getting the upset win over the Tennessee Titans 27-24. I don't think anyone saw this one coming. And I'm glad I didn't put this game in my multi. So,
Yeah, the Titans, we put the jinx on. I put the jinx on them last year. Since I put the jinx on them and said they'd finish top 4 and be a threat, I think they've won about 2 games. So,
and that their defense was one of the best in the league.
Yeah, all of it. I put absolutely all of it on the Titans, and they have been atrocious. So
they've been very poor.
Yeah.
Friday night's game, we had the Bengals up against the Jaguars. Bengals coming out on top 24-21. So this is Jacksonville's 19th straight loss and the longest streak in the NFL since Detroit. I also believe this is the first time in Trevor Lawrence's career through high school and college that he's gone 0-4.
And it's actually... he's lost the same amount of games this year than he has his entire college and high school career.
Yeah.
So he only lost 4 games until he went to the NFL, and he's lost 4 straight.
Yeah.
The poor kid. Seriously.
I mean, he's still a shining light on a shitty Jacksonville side, but...
Well, he's the only reason they're that close.
Yeah, exactly.
But
it's also, on the flip side of that, it's good to see Joe Burrow get some wins. While he can.
I'm a big Joe Burrow fan. I'm a big Bengals fan. Best helmet in the NFL. So I always like the Bengals, but you're only just scraping ahead against the Jaguars. I'm not planning them to see some trips.
Yeah, that's it. Well, with that, that's pretty much the NFL wrap up. We've got the Raiders and Chargers to play yet. Who are we tipping for this one, boys?
I'm going the Raiders. They look good. Yeah. I know the Chargers have been playing some really good footy as well, but I don't know. Something about the Raiders this year. New home ground. Good energy out there in Vegas at the minute. So
there should be a close one too. Like the way these teams have been playing, it could go either way. But I'm of the same thing, and I think I'll tip Raiders for this one.
I'm going to go the Chargers. They got to get a win.
Yeah, fair. Cool. With that is the end of episode 49. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we're going to catch up with you guys later.
Cool. See ya.
How about those Panthers?